welcome back. This is Sierra. If you're new here, you probably already know a little bit about my channel based on the intro that you just watched, but a friend of mine suggested that I take a second in my next video to kind of explain what I do here, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get into like the actual video, you know, the reason that you clicked on the little icon-y thing. Okay. So really quickly, I'm Sierra. I'm a foreigner living in Japan. Before I lived in Japan, I lived both in the United States and in Central Europe. And the main genre of my videos is usually my life in Japan, lush, zero waste, or being vegan. So if any of those things are interesting to you, or if you're a personal friend of mine and you want to get updates about my life, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and then you'll get an update and notification when I post something. Okay, so that's enough of the spiel. Let's get into the actual video part. Yeah. So right now it's Labor Day weekend, and we're supposed to be having a typhoon coming in really soon, and so the weather's kind of gotten cold, which I've been excited about, but it's also been raining a lot. And so since today was raining, Mr. and I decided to make a trip out to Costco because Mr. didn't have to go to work, and I don't like going to Costco myself because a lot of times it is crazy crowded. And so that's what I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to show you guys a little haul of the stuff that we picked up. So really quick, I just want to take a second to talk about how Costco works in Japan. Costco, I think, is most popular in the States, and Costco is a big box store where you buy a membership and then you can buy other products at a discounted rate versus what you would buy in the regular supermarket. So for example, if you buy like broccoli, for example, you can get maybe at the supermarket, you can get maybe one head of broccoli, but if you go to Costco, you can get like a huge bag full of broccoli, and in the States, it's usually about twice the amount for the same price, if that makes sense, or something like that, but you know what I mean. Anyways, you can get a lot more for a discounted rate with most products, and so that's why we like going there in the States. And then we already had our membership from the States, and so when we moved to Japan, we found out we could use our US membership at Costco Japan, which was really exciting. Yes, if you're an American and then you come and visit Japan, you can use your American membership here the first time. I think it really depends kind of on what store you go because your cashier may not know what to do, but the store I go to is pretty close to my base, and so they're used to seeing a lot of foreigners from the base, and so when they see our foreigner cards, there's just like another button they have to push on the machine in order to let it run through. A couple of months ago, we went to Costco Japan for the first time, and we've gone twice since then, and so this is our third shopping trip from Costco. Alright, so I'm going to talk about that really quickly, just a little bit more. For those of you who have traveled to Japan, or those of you who live in Japan, I'm just going to, you guys can go ahead and skip the next like minute or so, but I just want to share that in Japan, a lot of things like groceries are a lot more expensive because a lot of those things have to be imported. We usually make it out to our Costco about once a month just because of the fact that it is about a 25-minute drive from our base, and we do have a lot of supermarkets around base, and we also have a supermarket on base. But one of the reasons I like to go to Costco is even though like things at Costco Japan are similar in price to things at a Japanese grocery store depending on what you're buying, but I like going to Costco because a lot of the things that I buy there are in a lot bigger packaging. And in Japan, I don't know what the deal is with all this plastic. If you're a Japanese person watching, can you please explain to me what the obsession is with plastic? Because in Japan, everything has to be wrapped in tons of plastic. And I prefer going to Costco Japan because of the fact that even though they still use packaging, I can get a lot more using less packaging. Also, for certain things like fruit and vegetables, going to Costco and buying a really big quantity is cheaper than going to the supermarket and buying a small quantity, especially for fruit, because I swear, like, I don't really know what it is. Well, actually I do because I researched it, but it frustrates me to no end having to spend a small fortune just if I want to buy fruit. The most expensive thing I'm sure y'all have heard of in Japan are watermelon. Japanese watermelon, they're like, you know, medium watermelon size in the States, but you know, no, it's like $40. One of my favorite things to have in the summer is watermelon juice, but I never thought that there would be a point in my life where I could not afford to buy a watermelon. In Japan, I can't afford watermelon. So anyways, that's all I have to say about Costco Japan. I'm going to move now into the haul portion of the video. Alright everybody, so now we're in my kitchen, and so now it's time for the fun part. It's time for the food haul. I didn't actually get inspired to start making this video until after I started unwrapping some things, and so that's why the avocados are now in a bowl versus in the bag that they came in. I'm going to zoom in really quickly, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. So up in the corner, we're going to start here. I got two great big pineapples because, as most of you guys know from watching my vegan what I eat in a day videos, I am addicted to smoothies, and I make a smoothie about once a day. And so I decided to get some of the pineapples. They're not really ripe yet, but you know, it'll give it a couple of days. I think this one will be ripe first, and this one will be ripe later. One thing I did notice I thought was really weird, the pineapples have some kind of weird wax on them. I don't really know what that's about, but you can totally just like wipe it off. Just see. Like that. I don't know if it's to preserve them or whatever. I don't really mind though because I mean I'm not going to eat the leaves or the outside of the pineapple, so hopefully it's just a wax doesn't hit inside, but I don't know. I haven't gotten sick from them yet and I've been eating them for 4 months. Alright, next to it I also got a big old bunch of bananas. These are organic. I usually get the same exact brand at the supermarket just down the street, but these were a little bit cheaper, and they had 8 bananas instead of the usual 4. I think they were about $3, something like that. Actually, bananas are pretty much like my favorite food here because they're the only fruit I feel like I can really afford. At Costco, I can pay for a little bit more. All right, next thing I've got here is a big old box of organic kiwi. They did have regular kiwi too, but when I can buy organic, I always get organic if the price is not a big difference. I think it was maybe $1 more or $2 for about the same number. I think these ones are a little bit smaller than regular ones, but that's okay. All right, moving on to the next part, I have a big old bowl of avocados. I actually didn't know this, but avocados are a fruit. I didn't know that until relatively recently. I got 5 of those avocados. Took me about like 5 minutes checking all the bags because usually at Costco you have a bag that's ripe and a bag that's not ripe, and there's no middle ground, but these ones have some ripe ones and some green ones, so I was excited about that. All right, and then moving on to the last fruit item that I have to show you guys, a big old bag of organic blueberries. I really liked them to put in my smoothies. You can get blueberries here, but I got this bag for about $13. That just shows you how expensive fruit is here, but yeah, I got some blueberries. I think these are 3 pounds. You can get a third of the amount if you want fresh blueberries for the same price. So, all right, moving on to veggies. Here we have some edamame pods. I know the label's all in Japanese, so you can't actually tell what it is, but it's edamame. I really like these a lot because they're great for snacks, and I like to cook with them. They're really, really great just like during movies and stuff instead of kind of replace popcorn because they're a healthy, vegan, protein-packed alternative. I just boil them for a few minutes until they look done, and then once they're hot, they're pretty much ready to go because I think that these are completely steamed. But then once again, I mean, it's a vegetable, right? You're not going to get sick because it's not cooked all the way through. Next item I have is one of my favorite staples from back when I lived back in the States. It's the stir-fry vegetable blend. I used to buy this all the time in the States because it was perfect for those nights when I just didn't have time to cook dinner or I just wasn't feeling the whole cooking dinner thing. All I had to do was take about a bowl full of these vegetables, saute them with a little bit of olive oil and soy sauce, and I had a yummy stir-fry ready to go. Sometimes if I'm really feeling ambitious on a lazy night, I'll add a little bit of tofu, but I'm pretty sure you guys have seen me make this dish in one of my vegan what I eat in a day videos. So if I can find it, I'm gonna link it right up in the cards for you. All right, next thing I got is a whole bunch of red bell peppers. This bag I think was $9. See what I mean? Vegetables are expensive here. I looked at a Japanese supermarket the other day for peppers. They just didn't have any good ones and they were really small. And so I decided to splurge and just get these because I really want to make red pepper hummus. And to make red pepper hummus, you need red peppers. And sometimes I make other pepper hummus, but yeah. All right, moving on, we got a big old bag of carrots because I've been using carrots a lot now that it's been getting a little bit cooler. And look, the carrots are from Australia. Hi Kevin, I got this food from where you live. Well, kind of. All right, next to that I have a nice big bag of Japanese sweet potatoes. These are really different than the US sweet potatoes. These are quickly becoming one of my favorite foods just because of the fact that they're delicious. They taste a little bit different than those sweet potatoes that we have in the States, and I just like them better, and so that's what I've been eating. I'm eating a lot of those. All right, moving on, another thing I love to have a lot of in my diet is fresh broccoli. Actually, I think Mr. eats more of it than I do, but it's got 4 broccolis in there. All right, and then next to that, of course, you know, I have a whole big bag of garlic. So I use garlic for pretty much everything in my kitchen. Okay, moving on to pantry staples. We got a whole bunch of pistachios because Mr. eats them pretty much constantly, and I like to put them in desserts. And then we also have some of the Kirkland maple syrup. I think it comes from Canada. I don't actually know. It's a good question. I don't know. Most maple syrup comes from Canada, so I'm just going to assume it's from, yep, it says right there it's a product of Canada. So since I went vegan and started avoiding honey, I use maple syrup for all of my honey substitutes. It works really nicely, and honestly I've heard that most of the time honey is cut with stuff, and so maple syrup is not cut. It's usually just maple syrup, and if it is, then it's bad maple syrup. And then of course, you know, I got a little stash of the adult grape juice. It really wasn't that much cheaper at Costco Japan, but they had some of the brands that I recognize, and I also got some really cheap kinds so I can make spa-shop in a couple of weeks when it starts cooling down. All right, there we go. That's all my food. Okay, so that concludes my haul video on Costco Japan. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe button so you get a notification every single time I post something new and exciting. All right, thank you for watching. Bye!